All right, now we're doing page 241. So if you get stuck, this is for if you get stuck on 241, you do this. If you're not stuck, just look at the answers and see how you did. And then if you're not right, try to figure out where you made a mistake. But if you're not sure, you don't get it, you're like, I don't get it, then you come here. All right. Let's say Francesco, even though it's Francisco. Francesco and his aunt are making a quilt. Francesco and his mother Pica are making a quilt. The finished quilt will be 6 feet by 7.5. So it's 6 by 7.5. Okay, cool. Feet. All right, let me just put a little thing there to show feet. They're using 1/4 of a foot by 1/4 of a foot fabric tiles. So already in my head, I'm thinking, ooh, a fourth times a fourth is a 16. So I'm probably gonna have to use 16 somewhere in here. How many fabric squares will fit along the 6-foot side? Okay, so let's say this is 6 feet and 7.5 feet. 6, 7.5. So how many tiles does it take to go this way? If you're going 1/4 of a foot at a time, well, 1/4 of a foot means it takes you 4 of them to go up a foot, and then 4 to go the next foot, and 4 to the next foot. Well, there's 6 feet, so it sounds like 6 times 4 to me, kids. 6 times 4 would be 24. How many fabric squares would fit along this side? So if you made 24 little squares going this way. So A is 24. B, how many squares on this side? Well, because you're smart, you remembered what you just did on the last problem. You multiplied times 4. So you do 7.5 times 4, which is just 7 times 4, and then a half times 4. Put them together. 28 there, 2 there, looks like 30. That's 30. Let's go on to C. How many fabric squares will Francesco and his mother Pica need to make the whole quilt? Well, if we had took 30 tiles this way, what was it over here? 24 over here. You're going to have to do 24 times 30, people. Do it. 24 times 30. Looks just like 24 times 3 to me, doesn't it? And add a 0 at the end. That's called being smart, kids. Being smart means taking the easy way out and making it look hard or something like that. Okay, so we're at 720. That's how many tiles that Francesco and Pica are going to need to make. That's number C. What will be the area of the quilt? So D, they're now trying to mess with you because they gave you the information at the very beginning of the problem, how to get D, but they don't use it till D because they're messing with you. So you have to do 6 times 7.5. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times a half of 6 is 3. Put them together, you get 45. 45 square feet. And that is number 4, problem number 4. Let's go on to number 5. Okay, number 5. Marguerite is a checkerboard cloth like that. It's pretty ugly. She measured one checkerboard, found that it was a half by a half. Dun, 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 dun. You should already be going in your heads. Oh, a half times a half. That's a fourth. I'll bet it's going to take 4 of those tiles to cover 1 square foot. All right, blah, blah, blah. She measures, blah, blah, blah. The piece of cloth has 15 rows of little squares by 20 squares each. How many checkers cover the whole thing? So you do 15 times 20. It's 15 times 2, add a 0. It's 300. A is 300. The number model is 15 times 20, blah, blah, blah. B, what are the dimensions of the piece of cloth? Ah, this is trickier. So it's 15 of those little 15 quarter inches going one way. So it would take, if it's 15 of those little bitty tiles, and each of those tiles is going 1/4 of an inch at a time, you're going to have to do, it's like 15 fourths, right? Which is 4 1/4 feet. Oh, that's a half, Brian. 4 1/4 feet. So this big rectangle, that checkered cloth thing, should be 4 1/4 feet this way. And going this way was 20 of them, right? 20. So, but it takes 4. It was 20, but it's dividing by 4 this time. Man, dude, this is a hard lesson. So it would be 20. You got to divide by 4, so it's 5. So it's actually 4 feet by 5 feet, the whole thing. So that's for B. The dimensions are 4 feet by 5 feet. What's the area of that? 20 square feet. And now you should be getting a sense of why Brian wants to slap someone in Chicago University of Chicago, for this lesson for today. On our first day of COVID Academy, might I add. All right, it's Math Box next. New film.